What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 346 of the Hoots podcast. Reach for the sky, boy. Boom. What it do? What it do? It's your boy, Joshie, the nefarious brother, Adam. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots podcast. I'm joined this week by the director of all operations. Make sure to follow him at Twitter at Derek Stoughton, the one and only Brother Carter.
Thank you. Good evening, Brother Adam. We are recording this on a Thursday evening. Good to be back with you. It's been a while since I have been live and in living color here on the podcast at Hoots. It's great to be back. What it do, what it be, throw your ones to the sky, we them boys, all that good stuff. Glad to be back. I am, for those of you that may be new, I am the director of all operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, your fractions, your numerators, your denominators, all of the operations, even the ones, the surgeons, the brain surgeons, the rocket surgeons, all those things. I take care of all the operations. I know rocket surgeon isn't a thing. That was a joke. But
yes.
So glad to be here with you, Josh. We had a tremendous weekend of professional wrestling action, and I couldn't not be here with you to discuss all of it. So glad to be back, brother. Can't wait to get into it.
The Hoots podcast comes to you free of charge every single Thursday. Anywhere you get your podcast from, make sure to do us a favor to, especially if you're on YouTube, make sure to like this video, subscribe, make sure to press that bell notification so you never miss a brand new edition of the podcast at Hoots. Like I said, we come out every single Thursday. It's your first time watching or listening to the podcast. We appreciate the support. We're also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Also, I'm glad to announce it's starting forward. We're going to be simulcasting the live video versions of this podcast on Twitch.
Yay.
Make sure to check us out on twitch.tv/the Hoots podcast. Make sure to follow us there. And if you want to donate and help out the good brothers, we definitely appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
But we're going to do some more Twitch content as the weeks come up. I'm going to try to expand out some content for the show. And just very excited to come on here. Also, as we do this StreamYard, I'm going to be implementing some screen share elements here and there. Just trying to jazz things up here on the podcast. For example, I'm going to show you what the podcast looks right now on Twitch. All right, so let's do that right now, actually.
All right.
Boom.
Hey, there you go.
There we are right there. Just come here and say hello here in the comments section. And
awesome.
Scroll down the screen. Make sure to like the video, and hopefully this will come in the replay version of the podcast as well on Twitch. So this is our first time giving this a shot, and I wanted to do this for a while, and I'm glad we're here and we could talk with you beautiful people about the world of professional wrestling. And we're gonna do that right now, as we usually do with the Back Porch Q&A session, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever have a question about wrestling, life, relationships, anything that's on your mind, send me a question at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. As tradition, we start off with the good brother, Chris Zaletta at XTeenZaletta24X on Twitter. Do a Burke Hard Zoom right now, throw up the X. And Chris starts us off here on the podcast at Hoots with this first question. What up, Hoots? Here's the question for the Q&A this week.
Great.
Would you main event Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos on one of the Mania nights? Brother Carter, I'll start with you.
Well, we're going to talk about this a little bit more once we get into the review of the Royal Rumble and the path to Mania season. The answer to the question is, would I? Yes, if that's the direction that WWE wants to go. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, because I think that with all the hullabaloo and all of the scuttlebutt on the internet and what we've been hearing, I could see very much see a scenario where Roman Reigns defends his 2 championships on 2 separate nights, and that's what I think is going to happen. But we'll get into that in a minute, because you're starting to see the split with the tag team titles, and I like the idea of splitting up the titles, getting one back on Raw, one back on SmackDown. So to answer your question, Chris, would I do it? For sure. I think they could put on a hell of a match. That could be a 30 to 45 minute tag team match. That would be incredible. I don't think that's the direction that they're going to go, but we'll see what happens with that. But would I do that? Absolutely.
I would totally do it. Here's my thing, though. My feeling is Roman will obviously close out night 2 as he should. And then I think night 1 will close out with the match that was announced on Monday of Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That is a main event. And I can't wait till we get to our This Week in WWE segment because Rhea promo was fantastic this week.
Yes.
And I'm so glad she chose Charlotte Flair. And remind everybody what me and Brother Carter have been saying for years. She is the measuring stick. Boom. All right, next question. Thoughts on Chelsea Green's return to WWE?
Josh, it's been fantastic. When she got eliminated in 6 seconds, that was great. Corey Graves with the line, and I know you're not a big Corey Graves fan, but I love when he said, I didn't even get a chance to make fun of her husband. That was hilarious. That was great. And then her complaining to Adam Pearce on Raw, I thought it was great. If she's doing the whole, Karen gimmick thing, I think it could absolutely work, and it will be absolutely hilarious. So happy for Chelsea Green. Glad to see her back. I know this is something that's been rumored for a while, but I'm thrilled to see her back. I think this is going to be terrific.
I think she's a perfect person to do that role. And it's not just of who she is, it's the facial expressions and her timing and how she carries herself. Like, don't get me wrong, you could take Chelsea Green seriously as a female wrestler. I've seen her work at Impact, but again, this is her opportunity. She honestly, before she got cut by her cards, she never really got a chance to showcase what she could do on Raw or SmackDown because she was injured a lot before she got released. So I'm curious to see what she's going to do, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting to say the least. But just her coming out, boom, out, adios. I thought that was great. Funny. All right, let's go to the next question. How good is it to be getting Carmella back? Yes, it's good for waterfall purposes. More importantly, I think I'm happy for her most of the fact that she's back in good spirits and that she's back on the road and doing what she wants to do. I know she had some personal issues she's been dealing with for a long while, and some stuff. I think there's something going on with a miscarriage or something like that. So, she's been going through a lot, and I'm just happy to see her back on TV and with a smile on her face. I don't think people give Carmella her props enough for what she does and what she brings to the table, and I was glad to see her back on TV.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I've been a big fan of Carmella for years. It'll be great to see her back. Obviously, a wonderful and welcome addition to the roster. And that's going to be terrific because, as we all know, and as she says, Mella is money.
Correct. All right, let's go to the next question here. Thoughts on Tara/Victoria's return to Impact last week? I got to see that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I've been a big fan of Victoria, Tara, Lisa Marie Varon, whatever you want to call her. I've been fortunate. I would say I call her like a friend, but I've known her for a while. She had a Chicago-based wrestling restaurant in the city for a long while, and I thought it was pretty cool that she showed up and showed out. Like, she still got it. I remember when she was a surprise entry. I think it was the Rumble in the Thunderdome. I think that was right. It was a couple years ago that she was in Rumble. So it's always great to see her on TV. I got the chance to run into her at WrestleCon in Dallas last year. And it was great to see her. It's pretty cool and humbling whenever a wrestler either recognizes you or remembers you for something that you're doing or whatever. So it was nice getting to see her. Yes, sir. All right.
Awesome.
Next question. What match are you looking forward to the most at NXT Vengeance Day? We're going to make some preview predictions for that later on in the show. But I think for me, the match I'm looking forward to the most is Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller the steel cage match for the NXT Championship, which will be the main event. By the way, Brother Carter, this NXT special premium live event is not at the WWE Performance Center. It's in an arena.
I love that.
It's in Charlotte, North Carolina on Saturday. A premium live event. The first one for NXT this year. Make sure to go check it out. It's a pretty good show. We'll talk about that a little later on.
Can't wait. And I know the superstars are going to be excited for that as well. They'll be excited. The crowd will be excited. I think it's just going to be terrific. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Right, absolutely. Let's go to the next part here on the show. He says here, thoughts on Isla Dawn and Alba Fire joining forces in NXT. Just like Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt, the Dyad, the Schism, anything that's spooky and horror stuff, it's an acquired taste for people. I enjoyed their work. I think they could be a good tag team, and I think they could be good tag team champions. So I'm not here to begrudge people who like horror, flicky performers or not. You know, wrestling is for everybody. You don't have to like one particular thing in professional wrestling. Sorry, Corny, even though I love your podcast. There's not just one way to do professional wrestling. But yeah, I don't really have an issue with that, to be honest with you. Who will be the last two women in the chamber match? So on Monday, it was announced that not only the United States Championship will be defended in the Elimination Chamber, which I thought was a good call. The second one is the winner of the Women's Chamber match will fight Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. So I posed the question to you, Brother Carter. Who is the final two in this?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. You've got Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, and Liv Morgan, which that and alone is going to be terrific. I think you've got to throw Alexa Bliss in there because you're going to start to do have more of the supernatural stuff. Then she can do some stuff with Uncle Howdy and all that stuff. So I think you got to throw her in there.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking one more person from SmackDown. I'd probably put Shotzi in there just because, she made her return to the Rumble. It's been a while since we've seen her. It'll be a good opportunity for her to get back in there. So I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss and Shotzi.
Not bad. I like that. I'm going to go with Asuka or Liv Morgan. I think you'll have the last two like we had in the Rumble match, and then we'll have the last two in the Chamber match as well.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question. I thought he meant who was going to be the last two participants that there's going to be crowned. Oh, yeah, the last two there's going to be Asuka and Liv Morgan. No question. Sorry, I thought he meant like who was going to be the last two participants that haven't been announced yet. So my apologies if I misunderstood the question. Yes, Asuka and Liv Morgan, 100%.
I'll also add on to that as well. I do believe... I do see Carmella getting in.
Okay.
That'd be one. And then is Shayna Baszler announced for this or no? She'll probably be Carmella and Shayna Baszler.
Okay.
That'll be my last two. Next question. Who sets the QB market first with a new deal? Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow?
Ooh. It's got to be Burrow. Well... It's got to be Burrow, right? Not only because he's playing really. I mean, he's way better than Lamar Jackson. Let's be real. He's way better than Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
And he's got an agent. That's the whole thing. Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent, and so he's trying to represent himself. And at some point, that's part of the agent's job is to get that deal going. So I think it's going to be Burrow just because one, he's a better player, and two, because he's got an agent.
Right. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow as well. I think Lamar only has himself to blame for this situation. It goes back to the stuff with Roquan with the Bears before he got traded to Baltimore. Like, you want to be a head case and think you can do all this stuff on your own. We'll see how it works out for you. Yep. Hey, here's the deal. Roquan wanted to be a head case and not have an agent. He gets traded to Baltimore. He gets his contract extension. But guess what? Lamar is probably not going to be on the team next year. So what all that huffing and puffing going to do for him,
Okay. Where do you think he ends up?
Who, Lamar?
Lamar, yeah.
That's a good question. If I was smart, I would say the Detroit Lions.
That would be.
Look, wait a minute. The brand new Lions.
Well, but do you want to mess that up? Yeah, but do you want to mess that up though? Because Jared Goff, yes, he's very hit or miss, no question. But if he can figure some stuff out in the offseason, he's got some good chemistry, that could work. Because I don't think Jared Goff would end up wanting to be a backup anywhere. So that's a possibility. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers need a quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. There's gonna be a lot of quarterback movement.
Hey, Josh, maybe he can head to Green Bay after they trade Aaron Rodgers.
Oh God. Yeah, the Packers are a perfect representation of a cockroach, a pest that just never goes away.
That's funny.
Damn you, brother Carter. All right, let's go to the next question.
Sorry, buddy.
Do you think we see Jesus Christ? Do we see a Mickie James heel turn in the next few months? Maybe. I mean, she's becoming more passive aggressive on TV over the last couple weeks. From what I can observe, she's like coming off very paranoid and stuff like that. I guess we can see that. I mean, it's not like she's never been a bad heel. I just think she's more of a natural babyface, but that's just my opinion.
Does she still have the thing where the next match she loses, she's done?
No, that ended at the pay-per-view, so she won the title, so I think she's good for now.
Okay.
Unless it's like a Ric Flair thing.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like I remember they had a thing for a while where she announced that if I lose one more match, I'm retaring. Yeah, so I don't know if that's still
I hope that's not the case because Impact can use her more than anybody. Last question here for Chris. Thoughts on Kota Ibushi's departure for New Japan? Where would you like to see him?
No. Oh boy. You know what, Josh? You know where he's going to end up. You know where he's going to end up.
This is Rampage. This is Rampage. This is a show we all talk about. Hey, no, they do the Rampage intro, right? And then they show the pyro, the value and everything, right? And then, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AEW Dynamite. No, I was wrong. Wait a minute. This Friday, you know what that means. It's AEW Dynamite. I'm Jim Ross alongside Excalibur, Chris Jericho, and Tony Schiavone. Oh man.
Well, so you know what? And Josh, here's what's going to happen. He's going to come out. They're going to get a mega pop. Oh my God, AEW's the best thing ever. They got Ibushi. WWE's done. And then you don't see him on TV for another week or another month.
Yeah.
Just like they've done with Adam Cole and with, well, now the Bucks are back, but we'll get into that here in a minute.
Yeah, Kota Ibushi will come in. He'll have a 45-minute match on TV with Kanose Takeshita or Action Andretti because AEW is so fixated on shoving certain dudes down our throats every single time of the year. And honestly, wouldn't it be funny if this Kota Ibushi shows up in the NWA or something like that? Just like
that'd be great.
It's for the hell of it.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Chris, for the questions this week. As always, we appreciate you, brother. Next, we go to Mike at Main Event Swerve. He sent some questions here for the podcast. He says, "What up, Oos? Unlike that tag team, the Unbucks, it's great to see it."
Did we lose something there? Hang on a minute here. Oh, hang on a second. We might have gotten booted here. Hang on a minute. Let me jump out here just a second here. I might be having some technical difficulties here. Not sure if anybody can hear me, but Brother Carter's still here. He's rocking. Don't know if Josh is still getting the circle screen there.
Brother Carter, are we back?
Hey, there we go. Sorry. We had some minor technical difficulties there.
Sorry
Tony Khan
about that.
probably heard us bashing his company. He tried to send somebody to infiltrate because how dare anybody say anything bad about AEW?
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, that's all good. Let's carry on. Let's carry the hell on.
Yeah, he says here, unlike the Young Bucks, it's great to see a united tag team on the show.
There you go.
Thank you. All right. What is the dumbest, most pointless show on TV, and why is it that Dana White's competitive slap beat hour on TV?
Have you seen this, Josh?
I have not. I chose better judgment and not watched this.
I watched the first 10 minutes of this because I was intrigued. For the fans that don't know, I actually enjoy MMA. And so, like, I try to watch MMA when I can. And when I saw Dana White was back in this thing, I was like, okay, give this a shot. This looks like the dumbest thing I could possibly think of. This guy, that literally your job is to stand there and let somebody slap the shit out of you until like until you fall over unconscious. And I'm like, how is this a sport? Like, what is the point? At least with MMA, there's strategy and there's fighting and stuff like that. I can't figure this one out, brother Adam. I don't know.
What's the saying from the Billy Madison movie?
Oh, I award you no points and may God. Or it's like everybody is dumber for having heard you speak, or something like that.
There you go. That's my reaction to that show.
Yes.
Brutal. Speaking of which, I was challenged when I said Eating Hot Wings, the TV show, is a gateway show for Power Slap and dumber things on TV.
Wow.
I just think some shows are meant to stay on YouTube, like Hot Ones. Is that crazy? I think that's beauty is the what's the saying? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Is that? I kind of look at entertainment the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Choose what rocks your boat. You know, like I'm not into RuPaul drag races. Not that there's anything wrong with that or those type of shows. I'm not into that. Nor am I into Real Housewives, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Atlantic Jersey, those weird shows Mitchell McNeil used to watch. Like I'm not into that. I'm not into that shit. You know, I'm just not. But you know, some people like that. More power to them. Like again, I'm more about having the right energy and enjoying what I want to watch. So I'd rather watch, you know, the New Girl, the Zoe Deschanel show on Netflix. I've been starting to watch that recently. I would rather watch reruns of an old show on TV than Power Slap. Like, I just don't care about that show. But again, are we surprised? Dana White, you know, try to pump up something that's non-UFC and it's not going to work out for him. So
hey, he's probably going to make a bunch of money off of it. So kudos to him.
Right. Next question for Mike here. He says something. Speaking of crazy, what's your take on Joseph Asai's late hit on Patrick Mahomes in the Bengals Chiefs game? Did he have to do it? Was it emotion of the moment or a foolish moment?
So I had a chance to watch this, and it was probably just a brief error in judgment. You know, like I always try to give the players the benefit of the doubt, especially when it's, you know, there's 20 seconds left in the game, you know, we're in the final drive and all that kind of good stuff. He might have just not seen that Mahomes is out of bounds. Now, should he have stopped and just let Mahomes go out of bounds? Because that's probably what he was going to do. Yes. Did it cost them the game? No. One play, unless you get completely royally hosed, like the Saints did a few years ago, you know, and even then, you know, I'm going to retract that statement. One play does not cost a game, because if you had made more better plays across the game, you wouldn't be in a position where that one play would have cost you the game. Now, Bengals played lights out the whole game, no doubt. Chiefs played lights out the whole game, no doubt. Like, this was a great game, and either team could have won. I don't believe one play makes the game. Now, was it a mistake? Yes. But does it cost them the game? No, absolutely not. Because, you know, honestly, Harrison Butker is a good enough kicker that he probably would have made it from 40 or from 55, and it would have been fine. So I don't think he should deserve as much blame as he did, but he'll learn, and the team will be back next year, and I bet we'll get another classic next year.
Yeah, I just think it's the heat of the moment, and I will say this: a lot of football players do try to use those sideline plays to flop just to get the extra 15 yards. I made no bones about it. I am not a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Jackson Mahomes needs to go the fuck home and stay the fuck home. I'm just not a fan of that football team. It's unfortunate, especially during that time of the game. But that stuff's gonna happen. Especially It's the golden boy Mahomes, so God forbid you touch him. So yeah, that's gonna be 15 yards, regardless who it was. All right. Next question.
Hold on. Real quick, Josh, and I don't know if we got a question about this, and we might not get a chance to chat about this next week. Early prediction, who you got? Eagles, Chiefs, who you got?
Can there be a tie?
Yeah. When this matchup happened, I went, oh, man, Josh is not going to like this because I know you're not a fan of the Chiefs, and I know how you feel about Philadelphia, so...
Yeah, I was talking to my dad about this the other day. He came by. He's like, hey, did you watch the game? So I was like, well, I was bored and was falling asleep during the 49ers-Eagles game.
Yeah, that was...
Philly is still trash and forever trash. And then we got this Chiefs-Bengals game. I got to listen to Tony Romo for 3 hours. Verbally jizz over Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. And then we got the ending of that game. And the officiating was brutal.
It was horrible. Oh my God.
The best part of the Super Bowl next week, Brother Carter, is Rihanna. And that's it for me.
and the commercials. I love the Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not a petty guy, so I'll just say the Chiefs will win and Matt Nagy gets the Super Bowl. So there you go.
And I went back and forth on this too. The Eagles, I think, are the best. They're the better team in this. I really think the Eagles have a better team, but the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, which is Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles. Actually, I think the Eagles squeak this out, and Jalen Hurts will do just enough to get him to the finish line. I'll take the Eagles, but this is going to be a really good game. I'm really looking forward to it. One of the better Super Bowls we've seen in a while.
Right. Next question here. Also, take a guess. What will be legal in Texas first? Gambling or marijuana use, and why?
Ooh. I'm going to say marijuana just because of Austin. Austin being the capital, and Austin is a very liberal city. And listen, I have no qualms with people using marijuana. If they want to do that, that's cool. That's their business. You know what? I think it should be legal all across the country. I really do. As long as it's used safely, just like with, it should have the same kind of limitations that alcohol is. Like, obviously you don't drive, you don't do any of that sort of stuff. But I will say it's marijuana, and that's mostly just because of the city of Austin.
I'm kind of surprised that gambling is not legal down there. I was going to say gambling.
No, there's too many. Because, and I can't prove this, but I have a theory
on it. Jerry Jones needs to save his money? Like, what's going on here?
No, what's happening is all the surrounding states where gambling is legal is feeding a little bit of a pipeline to the lawmakers under the table in Texas to say, because if gambling became legal in Texas, Oklahoma would be done. Louisiana would take a huge hit. Well, Louisiana might be okay because of Mardi Gras and because of New Orleans. But the casinos, like, you go right across the border into Lake Charles, and there's a ton of casinos in Louisiana. Same thing in Oklahoma. If you go north on 75 and 35, you have Windstar and Choctaw. A ton of people from Texas go there and spend their money. So, though I can't prove this, obviously, but there's a ton of under the table stuff to the lobbyists and the lawmakers in Texas. So I think it would be marijuana.
It sounds shady, kind of like the people from Indiana that smuggle guns into Chicago. But that's another show for another time. Is it weird to be inspired by Coach Prime's show?
Hell no! Let's go, baby! Coach Prime!
I feel like he's helping my mentality and how I communicate with my students. What's your takeaway for that show or his experience at Jackson State? Go ahead, Brother Carter. You're excited.
Dude, Coach Prime, baby. Let's go. So I'm doing some work at the University of Colorado right now. So I'm like right in the thick of what's happening with Deion Sanders and Coach Prime, and I am all on board. Now, Prime is pumping his chest pretty hard, but he's Deion Sanders. Like, he's never not pumped his chest pretty hard. So
Right.
you know what they say though, Josh? He's cocky, and I say what? It ain't bragging if you back it up. So if he can back it up, then let's go. But he's pumping his chest pretty hard. I will say, Colorado's going to a bowl game for sure this year. Like, they're going to win 8 games minimum this year. I truly believe that. Their recruiting class is number 19 in the country, and last year they were 1-11. So figure that out. But I watch Coach Prime's videos all the time. If you haven't watched his talk to his team, you need to do that. It's pretty unbelievable. He basically goes in and says, y'all suck, and I'm going to either fix it, I'm going to say I'm going to make you better, or you're going to leave. Period. Like, get on board or get out of the way. And I loved it. Like, it was great. So there's just a whole new energy around the University of Colorado. But I've also had a chance to watch the documentary, the 4-part series that's out on Amazon Prime. It's terrific. Everybody should check it out. Just the way that Deion talks, the way he speaks, his quotes, his inspiration. I watch as many Coach Prime videos as I can. I'm inspired. I love it. His quotes are fantastic. His energy is fantastic. His mentality is fantastic. He's very inspirational to a lot of folks. I'm all in on Coach Prime. I think it's going to be absolutely terrific. Go freaking Buffs.
It's very interesting. I'm kind of curious to see when the Sean Payton show starts as well.
That's another discussion. I still think Colorado's going to be the best. The Buffaloes are going to be the best team in the state of Colorado, but that's just.
All right, we got 10 more questions here for this Q&A session. We're gonna wrap this up. All right, next one. The USFL is airing these United by Football ads because football is back. Do you care about the upcoming season? Fortunately, no for me. I don't care about the USFL. Sorry, Rocky. I don't care about the XFL coming back. Or the announcement the other day that the Arena Football League is coming back as well. So
wait, what?
Yeah, that's
no,
right.
I didn't see this.
Yes,
is Arena Football coming back? Oh, God.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm just not interested in either of those organizations, if you will. All right.
Now, listen, Josh, listen, I love football just as much as you do, and I know, but we need a break. I think we need a little break from football. It's not as exciting if you have football all year round, you know?
Yeah. The only thing I need to break up is I need a break from is Get Up on ESPN. God, that
really?
Show sucks.
You don't like Get Up?
That show sucks.
Oh no! Come on, man! I like Get Up. I like Greeny a lot. No, yeah. I like Greeny.
Yeah, you're all for Dan Graziano and his smug ass.
You get more sports, and now you actually get analysis of the games on Get Up. On First Take, it's just them all. And listen, First Take's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But you get more in-depth analysis on Get Up. I like Get Up. I think it's fine.
I'm sorry. Mike Greenberg and Get Up remind me of Meltzer and Alvarez. I'm sorry.
Oh, brother Adam. No, sir. No, sir. You get minus on your performance evaluation for that. Hell no. Nah. Get your ass out the door.
All right. Did the Bengals jinx themselves with the whole Burrow head and a paternity test for Patrick Mahomes to see if Joe Burrow is his father? Quick answer for me, yes. Also, the mayor should shut up.
Yes. By the way, said. NFL memes on Instagram after that with the whole Eli Apple stuff was hilarious. If you don't follow NFL memes on Instagram, It was great. It is great.
Next one. Oh, how about this? So Rick Boogs is back on Raw and possibly back on something else. What drugs might have yet been during Monday's Wild promo? Hey, man. Boogs is Boogs.
His name is Rick
Boogs. I felt so bad for him. I was there for Mania, honestly, and he got, I think he tore his ACL or something.
Yeah.
It was great to see him back on TV, and He's never really a guy I think that's gonna be a main event guy or whatever, but he has a connection with the crowd, and it was cool to see him on the show the other night. No, I don't know what particular supplements he was on. Again, I am straight edge. I don't take drugs, so I wouldn't even be able to tell you which one was what drugs he was taking. All right, next question. Given the field, what would you rather see defended in the Elimination Chamber, the IC title or the US title? I think it's the US title. The reason, originally before they announced what the chamber matches were going to be, I said it would be cool whoever won the Elimination Chamber to fight Gunther at WrestleMania. I don't feel like Gunther needs to defend his title in the chamber, so that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I will say, I'm excited for the way that they're doing that, because they have to do that for the U.S. title because of the world title situation, which is why I think it's going to get split. And we'll get into that when we get into this week in WWE. I actually wouldn't mind seeing the IC title defended in the chamber, just because what Gunther could do in the Elimination Chamber would be awesome. I think what he could do, and just kind of his strength and in that barbaric stuff. But at the same time, I also understand it, because if they were good, I like your idea, Josh, of the winner going on to face Gunther, because you have an easy angle. Gunther can be like, the mat is sacred. You should earn it by wrestling, not by destroying your body or whatever. And then there's your angle you can play into the Mania match. So I kind of like that idea. But I wouldn't mind seeing the IC title defended in the Elimination Chamber. I think Gunther could do good things with that.
The mat is sacred.
Yes, it is
sacred.
Yes, it is.
All right. Unlike Dave Meltzer's journalism. All right. What was your favorite surprise of either Royal Rumble in San Antonio? Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. It was great to see Booker on my screen.
Yeah.
Butter them down like a biscuit.
We'll talk about this more. We'll talk about this more when we get into it. For me, it was probably honestly, for me, it was seeing the NXT superstars in the women's match, them getting some time. I thought Zoe Stark had an excellent performance, so that was great. Great to see Rox. I keep wanting to call her Roxy, but I know it's Roxanne Perez as the NXT Women's Champion. I thought she had a great showing as well. I understand why I read somewhere that they didn't want her to have her in the match too long, because they didn't want her to get hurt, which I understand, getting into NXT Vengeance. So for me, it was the surprises from NXT in the women's match. I thought that the men's Royal Rumble, one of the, I wouldn't say it's a turnoff, but kind of something that we need to debate and discuss was the lack of returns in the men's Royal Rumble match. And that's one of the things I look forward to the most. And we'll talk about that when we get there a little bit. That was a little underwhelming for me, honestly. We'll get into that here in just a little
bit. I guess my biggest surprise is the fact that we have two uncrowned Royal Rumble winners. We have Curtis Axel and we have Rey Mysterio as uncrowned Royal Rumble winners. Now, usually I don't make snarky comments like this, like a lot of people do on these type of podcasts, but it was right there. I had to mention.
Well, in that case, would you make Lana? Would you make Lana an uncrowned winner as well?
Yes, I would. All right, next question. Did WWE really not know that Banger Bros didn't sound close to something else? I mean, that other company nearly sponsored an NBA arena. Hashtag submission sorority 2023. Shit happens. Like, why are we making a mountain out of a molehill out of this? And honestly, whether WWE knew about it or not, why is this something that people had to bring it up in the first place?
Because people on the internet have nothing better to do with their time.
Right.
Let's be real. Because the IWC has nothing better to do with their time than to do crap like this. And we're going to get into the IWC when we get into This Week in WWE, Josh, aren't we?
Yeah, bunch of delusional, fickle twats. All right, next question. Was there anyone you wish popped up in the Rumble but didn't this year, particularly from NXT? Outside of Carmelo Hayes, not that much, to be honest with you. The women from NXT that did show up in the Women's Rumble match, I thought were the right choices, and I was happy to see them. So,
yeah, I mean, and this is going to be part of the thing we're going to talk about with returns and debuts and stuff like that. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to show out at Vengeance Day, and that's going to be a great event for all of them. Is that the last show that they're doing before WrestleMania? Are they doing a takeover WrestleMania weekend?
What, NXT?
NXT, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing standard delivered before night one, I think.
Okay, great. So we'll get to see some more of them during that time. But yeah, I think they'll get to show out at Vengeance Day, so I was okay with it. But we'll talk about that in This Week in WWE.
It's going to be very curious to see the air times of these shows since Mania's in California this year.
By the way, them showing those Hollywood vignettes have been hilarious. They've been great.
Yes.
That's all been terrific.
I wonder if they aired the Stacy Keibler one, or that's not PG. No, we can't do it because Chris Benoit's in the ad. Forget about it.
Oh. Moving on.
Yes.
Yep. Moving on. Next question.
Yeah. What did you think of Sami Zayn possibly winning one of Roman's titles after aligning with Kevin Owens, but KO betrays him again to win for himself, maybe at SummerSlam? As much as an interesting idea, I'm sorry, I can't buy 5 haluva kicks beating Roman Reigns for the World Championship. Sami Zayn said it himself in his interview with Ariel Helwani last week, if you haven't watched it. Yeah, he could be a world champion, but he could also lose it the next month.
Right.
And yeah, it'd be a nice moment, but after that, how are you going to even top it? So that's my deal. So right. I say no.
Okay.
I'm getting some feedback for you, by the way.
What? Oh, is there? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Check. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I think we're fine now.
Okay, cool.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I think we'll get into this when we get into This Week in WWE, because again, I have some thoughts on this. I mean, that would be fine. I still think there's going to be some stuff between Sami and Jey Uso. Maybe I don't know how that's all going to play out just yet. That was a really nice twist, by the way, at the end of the Royal Rumble. They have Jey Uso walk out as well. I thought that was really great, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with that. I mean, yes, I could see that possibly. I think Owens is going to stay allied with Sami at some point. Owens is kind of working right now as a baby face for me right now. If you turn him heel, where does he fit into the mix? You know, that would be my only question. Unless the only way they would do that is if Roman is going away after Mania, and after WrestleMania, if whatever happens, and he goes and becomes a part timer. Because I've heard rumors that's going to happen, and he's going to become a part timer and start going into like more movies and stuff like that. Which fine. But if that would be the only way that would work is if Roman goes away, because then Owens could become the top heel on SmackDown. If it's not Gunther. So it could work, but I don't know.
Well, if anybody deserves the break, it's the tribal chief.
Absolutely. Throw up your ones.
All right. Next question here. I'm trying to get in an instructional coaching pool of applicants, and it's a process, but part of it is we pick walk-up music to enter the room. What would be a cool / fun song, but professional enough to be impressive? Trying to understand where he's coming from with the question here. You know what he's talking about?
Does it sound like he just needs like an entrance, like a mainstream entrance song? Is that what he's talking about?
I guess.
I don't know.
You should use the song that we're using for the pod this week.
That's a good one. If you want to go
ahead.
I was if you want to go old school, you can just do Tina Turner, "Simply the Best." I'm simply the best, better than all. I mean, it's old school, but it works.
Right. No, I think for me, like, as recently I picked the Renegades. If you guys know football, that's like one of the fight songs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They play it a lot at their games and stuff. I was listening on YouTube, and I was like, man, it's pretty fun song to jam out to. So Styx by my bad, Renegade by Styx is a good one I would pick there. Also, as we're talking about YouTube, make sure to go to YouTube and find Best of Booker T commentary. It's absolutely hilarious. There's a video of him in TNA where he has the microphone and he's beating up people. Hey, Booker T is gonna beat up. He's gonna give that boy a big breast kick. Booker T is gonna whip him. Oh, watch out for that clothesline. Ah, sucky ducky quack quack.
Oh no.
Then he calls Kelly hotter than a Mexican plate with hot sauce on it. Oh, that was tremendous. All right, last question here for the sessions this week. And thank you, Mike and Chris, for the questions this week. He says, I want to become a national board certified teacher, but it costs $1,900, which may be partially funded by a fellowship/payment plan. But I also have a baby on the way. Am I selfish for pursuing the dream at this time or even this year?
I mean, dude, you got to do you. If that's what you want to do with your life, go take it. You know, you have to, of course, be making sure that you're taking care of all your responsibilities and that you have the time necessary to do what needs to do for training and for studying and stuff like that, especially if, with the youngin' on the way. By the way, congratulations again. That's awesome, man. We're really excited for you, and I know you're going to be doing great things in fatherhood. I think that you just got to, it's kind of hard because you need to do what you want to do with your life. And if that's what you want to do in your life, go do it, man. Life is too short to not have you do what you want to do with your life. So that's part of it. But I also think that you've got to be responsible too and make sure, like, can I afford this? Can I put in the time necessary to do it? But I think that if it's really what you want to do and you have a bunch of support, you'll find a way to make it work. If that's what you want to do, go do it. Why not?
All right. Thank you to Mike and Chris for the questions this week. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit us up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Before we get to This Week in WWE, we got to go back to the screen share because I just got this tweet from our good friend Sam Piopo. And just to reiterate what we were talking about earlier about the great city of Philadelphia, let's check this out. Let's see what Sam has to say here. All right. As the great Hoots podcast and I always say, Philly is trash. Here's a tweet down below. The wife of 49ers captor Fred Warner, Cindy, says she's never going back to the Eagles Stadium again. I didn't feel safe. The FUs and shoving. I hope your plane crashes. I'm all about passion, but never again. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we would like to remind everybody that Philly is trash. They're even below mid.
Wow.
Honestly, I would be surprised if Cleveland and Philadelphia are cousins or siblings, Mama mia. So let's get into This Week in WWE. Gonna let Bryan Carter take charge of this segment here. I do want to play one piece of audio here, though.
Please.
We're gonna play some of Cody Rhodes' segment with the Judgment Day for this past Monday's Raw here. So bear with us here. Just give us 1 second. All right. Oh, guys, sorry about that, guys. All right. Dun, 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 All right, we got it right here.
You know what, Cody? You put your hands on me, and you ruined my moment at the Rumble. But you know what? You know what would have happened to you if you did that in prison? Huh? You wouldn't be standing here right now. You would have got.
Dominic should be the only multi-generational superstar to main event WrestleMania, not some suck-up that gets his way whenever he wants. No, look at Rhea Ripley, entered #1, outlasted 29 other women and won the whole thing. She earned a spot at WrestleMania, unlike you, the Golden Boy. Of course, you get handed number 30.
Cody, you owe me now. Yeah, and You owe me an apology for what you did last night and for ruining my moment.
Hold up. Dom, I don't want to run the risk of pissing you guys off, but Dom, I have to ask you, are you trying to scare me straight? That what's going on? You know, this could be very different.
Boom.
Yeah, that was, dude. Dominic Mysterio is absolutely unbelievable. Like, he's just absolutely tremendous. And I said last year he was my MVP, or most improved of 2022, and I think he's going to have an incredible 2023. He had a great showing in the Royal Rumble match. You know, he had a great. He just gets natural heel heat from the crowd. Like, it's just authentic heel heat, and he's embracing it, and he's killing it. I love Dominic Mysterio. I think he's great. He had a good showing in the Rumble match, too, actually. I thought that was really terrific. So, shall I take it from here, Josh, or do you want to say anything else?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
All right. So for this week in WWE, Josh, I thought what we would do is I want to talk about, and let's review the Royal Rumble event. And then we'll get into, if you want to talk about anything from Raw, we can certainly do that. But I think the main focus is going to be Royal Rumble. And then, of course, I'd love for you to preview NXT Vengeance Day before we get into the main event segment and everybody's favorite segment overall. But so what I thought we would do, Josh, is talk about each individual part of the Royal Rumble match. And I want to get your thoughts on this. I thought that this was top to bottom. This was a tremendous show. There was just great. I enjoyed both the men's and the women's Rumble match. I mean, all the matches on the card had something to offer. And we'll talk about the ending, which I think gets its own separate segment. But let's start with the men's Rumble match. I'll just give you a few thoughts, and then I want to get your thoughts on this. I really enjoyed the men's Rumble match. I thought it was great. Obviously, the right person won. I think we can just get that out of the way. Everybody who we thought was going to win won. And so that's terrific. No problems with that. For me, the MVP is Gunther. And I think Gunther has established himself as a main event player in WWE for many years to come after that performance. Came in at number 1, looked fantastic all the way through. Him and Cody at the end having like just a brawl, like a kind of an old school wrestling match with like some wrestling, but with some fighting and all that stuff. It was awesome. I loved every bit of that. I thought everything about that was terrific. Obviously, very happy for Cody. He deserves what he is getting to him, and when he has his moment at WrestleMania. And yes, folks, he will have his moment at WrestleMania, and it will be deserved, and the pop will go through the roof. No internet. The fans will not turn on him at WrestleMania after he wins the world title. It will be fine. So just relax. So I thought all that was great. My only gripes, I guess, about the men's Rumble match itself was, and I don't know if this is even really a gripe, but I think it's something worth discussing at least, was I would argue that the only real return that we got was Booker T. And that isn't even really a return because he works for the company. Same thing with Edge. Like, that was a return, yes, but he's already been integrated into storylines and integrated with the company. So that wasn't really, there was no outside folks that came into the Rumble match. And maybe that's the direction that Triple H wants to go. Like, he wants to focus on the talent that's currently there. Because, like, you had 30 superstars there, and there were some that weren't involved in the Rumble match. So, like, and if AJ Styles wasn't hurt, he would have been in, so somebody else wouldn't have gotten a spot. So, like, you have enough main roster talent to fill 30 spots in the Rumble match. So, if that's the direction that Triple H wants to go with that, fine. I just that was a little underwhelming for me because one of the things I always loved is seeing the returns. Like, I remember a couple years ago when Carlito came back and we hadn't seen him for a while. That I was like, when his music hit and they were doing the ba ba bee ba, that was so great for me. I loved that. So that would be my only gripe about this match, Josh, was that we didn't get to see a whole lot of turns. And my other little mini gripe is I wish Montez Ford would have gotten more time because when he came out, something looked different to me about Montez Ford, and like the way he was just carrying himself, I was like, dude, he looks fantastic. And then he got eliminated in like 30 seconds to a minute. And I was like, come on. I wish they would have given him more singles time. But Cody winning was the right call. Gunther was the MVP of that match. But overall, those were just some minor caveats into what I thought was a tremendous men's Royal Rumble match, one that will be remembered forever. So those are my thoughts, Josh. What are your thoughts on that? And do you have any rebuttal?
I think we'd be remiss without mentioning what kicked off the pay-per-view, which was the return of Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah! Seeing Pat come out, what I've really appreciated, what I've noticed with Triple H's direction since he's taken over booking, is that he knows how to set the tone for the pay-per-views, whether it's a hot match or just how the show is formatted and stuff like that. And to have Pat come out and get that energy going before the match even started, that's just smart business there. I did not know Pat was going to show up. Obviously, it's been reported that Cole and Graves had a genuine reaction because they didn't know he was showing up. And I'm an avid supporter of Pat McAfee, but over the last couple of weeks, he's been hemming and hawing on his show whether or not he was going to come back to the WWE. I know he's going to be busy doing the Pro Bowl stuff this week, and the show's going to be out at Radio Road next week for the Super Bowl. So, honestly, we don't know what his future is going to be with the WWE. So, to see him come out there and get to do commentary, I thought that was very nice. So, I thought that was really cool. And then, listening to the reaction of the crowd for the entrance and how the format went with the order of the entrance, you could tell who's really paying attention to the product or not. Because listen to the crowd reactions when Gunther and Sheamus were the first two to start off the Rumble match. And right. I thought that was really cool. From there, we've had Miz come out. We had New Day doing her thing. It was funny from the SmackDown last week. Miz was like, I have something on my shoulder. And Kofi's like, a chip, perhaps? God, Kofi and Woods are like video game trolls, man. It's ridiculous. But, I do have a rebuttal to what you're saying about the surprises because it's a nice novelty that's been attached to the Royal Rumble for many years. But at some point, you need to build up the stars of now and focus on them. So when they come in as surprises, you're actually getting those reactions.
Sure.
And that's my main takeaway. So if you had more surprises and stuff from NXT, the women's match, I'd rather have that be in one particular match and let that be the story of that Rumble match than having both Rumble matches being surprise every 5 entrants, surprise every 5 entrants, Like this Rumble match for the men, why I enjoyed it more than the women's, because it was story-based. Bobby Lashley got his receipt on Brock Lesnar and eliminated his ass from the Rumble. I thought that was tremendous.
Yes.
I popped really big when Edge came out. I gotta tell you this. On-site Edge is the best. Now, you hear this saying all the time. It's on-site. Every time I see you, I'm going to whoop your ass. If I see you at the grocery store, I'm going to whoop your ass. If I see you at church, I'm going to whoop your ass. Sorry to the man upstairs. If I see you at Walmart, we're going to fight like Booker T and Stone Cold. We're going to duke it out. You put a chair to my wife's head. It's on site. So, like, seeing Edge come out and go absolutely rogue on the Judgment Day was absolutely beautiful. But not even that. Dominic comes out with Ray's mask. Ray doesn't show up for the Rumble.
That was great.
So you're building that second part of the match there. And then Edge, there's one thing with the Rumble over the years I've always hated. That you could eliminate somebody even after you're eliminated. You could pull somebody out from the ring. This was the one exception because it was working for their feud. And not only that, they start brawling up the Rampage. Rhea Ripley gets involved. Beth Phoenix spears Rhea Ripley. Everybody's losing their mind. Cole was calling Dominic a piece of shit, I think, during the match. That whole stuff with Edge and Judge Day was beautiful. And then you get the Logan Paul Ricochet spot.
That was great. That was great. Yeah.
The double springboard crossbody. That was beautiful.
By the way, By the way, Josh, they've got to figure out something to sign Logan Paul. He's tremendous. Logan Paul is fantastic. He's one of those guys like Bad Bunny who like they care, they take it seriously, they train. Logan Paul, and I heard this on Jim Cornette was talking about this. He is a natural heel. Like people just love to hate Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And he's good at what he does. So they've got to find a way to sign him to some more deals. He's tremendous.
And this is going to be a more different dynamic than the match he had with Roman Reigns now. He's going to be the heel. Everybody's going to be cheering for Seth Rollins if that's the match that they're going to have at WrestleMania. I have no problem with that. That's probably going to be a barn burner, if you will. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I wouldn't mind a tune-up match with Logan Paul and Ricochet at Elimination Chamber. I think that would be terrific.
Yes. I thought that's pretty cool. I can't say enough good things about Gunther. He is one of the best champions in all professional wrestling right now. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'm so happy for him and all this stuff. Folks, if there's anything you can take away from this past weekend, is stop letting Twitter be the gospel of what's over and what isn't in professional wrestling. Like, can we stop letting Twitter dictate all of our opinions on what's good or not? Just because you have a blue check mark attached to your account doesn't make your opinion better than mine, pal.
Right.
And I loved what Gunther was able to do. They had the mini match with him and Cody. I was so happy for Cody to get his moment there. He played the hits. He did what you need to do. The crowd's into him. Even to the promo he had on Monday night in Tulsa. It was a special moment, and to say that the guy did not earn it is just grade A, homogenized, Holstein bullshit. So I love the Men's Rumble because it told a lot of different stories. It set up a lot of different stuff going into WrestleMania. And again, the Edge and Judgment Day stuff I thought was perfect.
Oh, that was great. That was great. And I think it's going to set up something at WrestleMania. You can have a 6-person tag. Well, no, you'll probably have to do an 8-person tag at Elimination Chamber. So you can have the Judgment Day against who was I talking about? Against Edge, Rey Mysterio. Golly, I'd written this all down. Hold on.
Let's do a mixed tag team Falls Count Anywhere match. Just have Edge and Beth against Finn and Rhea. The Chamber, and then you can set up. You can have Edge fight Balor and Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania,
and Ray and Dom. Got it. Okay, yeah, that'll work.
By the way, I have to point this out: WrestleMania, that YouTube channel, the home of smart marks and copy shit from Meltzer and those snarky assholes. They got outed this week from Vicky Guerrero as they were trying to portray that she's upset and that she's tired of Dominic pretending he's Eddie Guerrero, and she called him out on it on Twitter today. Folks, stop following WrestleMania. It's a bunch of snarky people coming out acting like their shit don't stink and their opinions are the gospel and all this stuff. It's no different from Seltzer and Alvarez. Please, guys, if WrestleMania is what your go-to for wrestling coverage, I really feel sorry for you. So
correct.
Correct. Real quick, I want to
go ahead. I was just gonna say, the last thing I'll say is about the Gunther thing. Remember 2 years ago when everyone said the world was gonna be over when Walter changed his name to Gunther, and they said, "Oh my God, it's over! It's over! They've killed him! They've killed him!" Yeah, I think everything's worked out just fine. So once again, internet, you were wrong, and also so was Keith Lee, if you remember that tweet.
Correct.
look where Gunther is. Look where Keith Lee is. I digress. Go ahead.
Bianca Belair retained over Alexa Bliss. I thought it was a solid match, but when you're coming off a Rumble that was 90 minutes long, you need people to catch their breath. So it's not a bad thing on them. Their match wasn't bad. It was fine it served its purpose. So.
Correct. I just that was what I was going to say is that I just felt bad for them because they just got put in a no-win spot. You can't win because you're tired after the Rumble. The crowd wasn't really into it because they were exhausted after the Rumble. Same thing with the Pitch Black match. It was, you're coming off the Rumble. The Pitch Black match I thought was okay. It was just basically a way to reintroduce the Bray Wyatt character. Was really all that was. And it was fine. It was a spectacle, cool. But yeah, for those two matches, they were just filler, and I get that.
I love Bray Wyatt's new theme song. That song keeps.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Okay, let's get into the Women's Rumble match. And I thought this was also an excellent match. When Rhea Ripley came out as number 1, I knew she was going to run the distance. And because in my picks, I had picked Liv Morgan, and I actually kind of forgot about Rhea Ripley. So I picked Liv Morgan. But I got the number 2 pick. So, she came out. She's essentially number 1, essentially.
Yeah.
Whoever comes out 1 and 2, they're essentially both number 1. So, so I got that part right, at least. So you and I basically got the 1 and 2, and they ran the whole gauntlet, and that was great. Josh, Rhea Ripley is going to be a mega star, and you are so right about her. I'm so glad she challenged Charlotte. That was the correct decision for sure. That's going to be terrific. But I thought this was great. Great to see Asuka and her new look. Mamma mia. That was terrific with the new mask and the new face paint, and now she's got like the blue liquid dripping out. Holy cow, what a reintroduction for Asuka. That was great. I mentioned earlier, I thought the NXT debuts and returns were terrific. Zoe Stark, I thought was awesome. She had a great showing. Very happy for Zoe Stark in that regard. Same thing with, I thought that Roxanne Perez, I'm glad she got some opportunities to work. I understand why they didn't have her go longer, because they want to make sure she's healthy and ready to go for Vengeance Day. And if they eventually are going to decide to bring her up to the main roster, she's going to have a tremendous career in WWE. I think the sky's the limit for Roxanne Perez. She's tremendous. India Hartwell was fine. I wish they would have given her a little bit more time. Great to see Michelle McCool. That was awesome. And she actually did pretty well. She lasted a good amount of time. So that was great for her. Like, for her to just pop out of the front row, I thought that was really terrific. So obviously the right person won. Very happy for Rhea Ripley. Her and Charlotte are going to have another barn burner at Mania, and that's going to be terrific. So I really enjoyed this match, Josh. Some great surprises, great showings from NXT superstars, and I thought this was very well done.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Where was the we want Sasha chants? So over. Nobody gave a shit about her whether she showed up or not. Let me get into this. I thought the final 3 were the right choice. The finish of that Rumbles match was really good. I thought that was very entertaining. Another nice performance for Liv. Her waterfall game knows no bounds. Let's see. This is also a year I did not miss not seeing the Bella twins. Right. It is what it is. I know they're making a big fuss about the amount of airtime that the women got at Raw 30 or didn't get. It is what it is. They kind of lost me when they're like, oh, they didn't want to do that because they had to showcase Sasha. Can we stop fooling ourselves and acting like Sasha Banks was fucking Stone Cold of women's wrestling?
Right.
Can we stop fooling ourselves? Like, give me a break. They had a lot of spotlight for Damage Control. They had a lot of eliminations in the match.
That was great.
I really enjoyed the Becky and Bayley promo on Raw this week, so we're going to get that steel cage match next Monday in Orlando. By the way, Amway Center, where that's the arena in Orlando. That was the first time I got to see an NXT takeover. That's when Aleister Black made his debut in NXT. I remember that venue had one very good air conditioning. It was just pretty cool. Some memories. That was back in 2017. I think I went down there for that show. So they're doing Bayley and Becky steel cage next week. Yeah, it was interesting. Bayley went rogue and like, oh, you're not good enough for your husband. And then she's like, the only reason he married you because he knocked you up. So yeah, it looks like Becky needs to go rogue in the cage match, and we'll have to see how that goes. But overall, again, Rhea Ripley, that was the right choice from day one. And her promo on Monday solidified everything that me and you have said about Charlotte Flair and her being the measuring stick. Those two had the best match at WrestleMania 36 a couple years ago. It's still one of the best women's wrestling matches that I transcribed over the last 5 years. And I have no doubt that these two are going to have the opportunity to do it again in front of a crowd this time. And who knows, maybe Rhea gets her opportunity this time and actually does beat Charlotte Flair. I thought it was the right choice. As much as I love Bianca Belair, I feel like if it was just Rhea and Bianca, a lot of people are probably going to be sitting on their hands. And this is a good choice. I'm curious to see what Charlotte Flair has to say about this tomorrow night on SmackDown. She is defending her title against Sonya Deville. So overall, I thought this was a good step up for the women across the board. Like you said, it was really nice to see Asuka with her crazy makeup and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. So overall, good job by the ladies.
Absolutely. Okay, Josh, let's get to what everybody wants to talk about, and let's get to the main event. So main event, Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the championship. Another terrific performance. The match was exactly what it needed to be. You knew there was going to be a ref bump. You knew there was as I was covering this on the Wrestling Rumors Twitter page. Sorry, Josh. I just had you looking at you. Anyways, on the Wrestling Rumors Twitter account, one of the first things I typed was, the ref bump is coming soon. So this was exactly what it needed to be. A very solid match. Kevin Owens is incredible. Roman Reigns is incredible. There was the little botch that Kevin Owens had. Nobody seemed to care. They looked right past it because Kevin Owens is so good at what he does, and so is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns might have the best spear of all time, Josh, by the way. The way that he hits that spear is unbelievable. Just kind of how he leaps and how he does all that stuff is terrific. But the match was terrific. I think it was everything it needed to be. A great, solid match. Owens is great. Reigns is great. Before we get into the after stuff, what were your thoughts about just the match itself?
The match itself, I thought it served its purpose. It was how it needed to go. I thought Cole and the crew did a good job on commentary. I thought Grace was getting a little annoying. I get it, you want to acknowledge the tribal chief and stuff like that, but it was getting a little bit over the top. It's okay to have a different opinion if you're not on the tribal chief's side. And Cole was doing the CNN Jim Acosta thing where he's trying to poke holes and say there's cracks in the bloodline and stuff like that. So it was fine. The match was good. Though the spots for Roman is ramming Kevin the back of his head against those ring stairs was pretty nasty. Some good false finishes. Roman telling Sami to grab the chair during the match. I thought that was interesting. I did get a chance to listen to Cornette's review of the match, and look, I get it. Nobody complains about the length of shows or length of matches or length of anything than Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette doesn't give away that he has ADD. He has a short attention span. But again, not that there's anything wrong with that, because I know people actually deal with it. I know that's a real thing. But I'm sorry, and I know we'll get into the main event angle and stuff like that, but the main event, the match, the entrances, the last thing that you should be on your mind is, oh, this is going too long. Oh, it took 15 minutes for the match to start with entrances. Why is that even at the top of your head?
Right.
It's the main event. Yeah, it's pro wrestling, but Brother Carter, are we watching a premium live event or are we watching a TV show? So I don't even know what he was complaining about. This went way too long. 8-minute intro for Roman Reigns. Yeah, it's a pay-per-view. Sometimes it takes 25 minutes for a fucking boxing match or a UFC match to get started.
Right.
Welcome to premium live event entertainment. So I love the match and everything that went into it. The finish. Honestly, I thought it would be cool. I mentioned on the show last week that I actually thought there would be a good chance for Kevin to win. That didn't happen. But again, Roman, of course, winning is not a bad decision. And then to have the beat down, everything that went into it, the pop for Sami when he hit Roman with the chair, Jay walking out, Paul Heyman's facial expressions and how over the top he is. I gotta say this though. I think KO did a stunner or something like that. It goes to the covered, and Paul's on the outside. My tribal chief.
Yeah.
He does that a lot during the match. Whenever like Roman's struggling, my tribal chief. You need to wake up, my tribal chief.
Oh, Heyman is, oh my God, he's unbelievable in everything he does. And he's just terrific. He's just terrific.
Cody Rhodes said this perfectly in the press conference. Yes, Roman Reigns is the best wrestler in the world. Go ahead.
Yes, no doubt. I mean, it's every time you watch a Roman Reigns match, you're just like, who is better than this person at professional wrestling? It's nobody. And it's not, here's the thing, Josh, it's not close. Like Roman is here and everybody else is like a mile down somewhere in there. Like it's not close. And that's what I don't understand. So after the match, Sami turns on Roman before Roman can turn on Sami. So I thought that was really cool. The part that I didn't see coming was Jey Uso walking away. I was like, oh wow. So maybe Jey does really feel something for Sami. So the best part about this is that you don't know what's going to happen. Like, that's what everyone's like, oh my God. What? Well, just Sami's got to win now. Because blah, 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 blah. Why? Why does Sami have to win now? Why does Sami have to do all this sort of stuff? It's like, we say all the time, Josh, the title doesn't make the man makes the title, right? Like, Sami doesn't need to win a championship to be one of the most over people in wrestling. Kevin Owens doesn't need a championship to be one of the most over people in wrestling, right? So it's just like you don't know what's going to happen next, and I think that's absolutely great. I didn't see Sami turning on Roman. I thought Sami, was going to Roman would eventually turn on Sami. So the fact that Sami is, one up on him, it's the storyline, the expression. Like Josh, I was emotionally drained after this pay-per-view because I was just like, they were beating down Kevin and like Sami eventually was like, okay, stop. That's enough. You got it. Like you've won. You don't need to do this, blah, blah, blah. And eventually Sami just snapped. Like you feel emotionally connected to that because you can side with Sami. You can understand like, dude, I get it. Like you finally got to your breaking point and you snapped. Like I was emotionally drained at the end of this pay-per-view because of how amazing the storytelling was. So just incredible. So now the next part everybody wants to know is where do we go from here? Now, of course, everybody on the internet has said, oh my God, they have to flip the script. I know it's been Cody. But you've got to give it to Sami. He's so hot right now. No, you don't. You don't have to give it to Sami right now. It's Cody has been destined to win the championship ever since he returned at Mania a year ago. Like when the crowd went batshit crazy for him, and rightfully so, that was an incredible moment. And the crowd has been behind Cody ever since. Why would you take that moment away from him just because of a flavor of the month? What is this, AEW? That's what Tony Khan would do. Tony Khan would simply get a flavor of the month and put the world title on him because he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know the understanding of long-term storyline. So, no, Cody does need to win the championship at WrestleMania. Now, I will say this. I said earlier, it is possible for everything to come to fruition. Sami's going to get his match at Elimination Chamber. I think we've all agreed that this is going to happen. Sami's going to get his world title match at Elimination Chamber. They can do a by hook or by crook thing so that Sami, much like they did with Kevin Owens, so that Sami now has a gripe to get into WrestleMania as if they want to give him in a world title match. So I would be okay, and I actually think this makes complete sense to me to have to have Sami. However you want to do it, it doesn't really matter. But on one of the nights, Cody wins the WWE Championship because let's face it, that's the title he's been going for. That's the title that's eluded his dad, because I really think WWE needs to split the titles again, because you've got to have a main and a mid card title on both shows. So I'm okay with, and if they don't do this, I'm cool with this too. If Cody wins the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, awesome. No problems with that at all. But I'm actually okay with Cody winning the WWE Championship on one of the nights, and then either Sami or Kevin Owens, it doesn't matter, winning the Universal Championship on the other night. And then the Roman Empire ends. And then if Roman wants to go away and do stuff for a while, and then he can come back like at SummerSlam and take a title back or whatever, fine. But I think that's a very safe way to make everybody happy. Cody gets the title that's eluded him and his family for years. That's the payoff to the story. So I'm okay with that being the case. If they want to put the tag titles on Sami and Kevin, fine. If they want to put the tag titles on Sami and Jay, fine. There's a number of different ways you can go with this, but the whole point of this is Cody is not going to win the championship at WrestleMania. So just slow your horses, unless by some strange, like he gets hurt or something like that, So that's how I think that they're going to do it. That would be a way for me to go. But this was incredible. And I want to get your thoughts, Josh, on if I'm right or if I'm crazy and need to give myself -5 points on my performance evaluation.
I think you could give yourself -3 on your performance evaluation.
Okay.
I won't go that far. I won't go that far. Here's my deal. At some point, you need to ask yourself, what's the point of the Royal Rumble if we're going to always alter the decision of who's main eventing WrestleMania, if we're implementing different people every fucking WrestleMania season? I'm being straight honest, and it's not even a knock towards you. I can understand where you're coming from with that, and you want to satisfy everybody and this and that. But my question to you and my question to everybody watching and listening is, at what point has the WWE or Universal title had anything to do with Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns since he's been in the bloodline? When has it ever been about the championship with him since he's been an honorary Uce? Or try to get in the bloodline in the first place? When has it ever been about the championship? So why does he need the championship? The bloodline didn't turn on him. He turned on them. When has this ever been about the championship? Why? Because he got a fucking beard? It's Rumble season. It's WrestleMania season. And we got to recreate Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania 30 every goddamn WrestleMania season? I get it. It was a magical moment. It's one of the greatest moments in the history of WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston got his moment at WrestleMania 35. Guess what? Every time this happens, guess what happens? Either injury happens or the title reign doesn't live up to people's expectations. Because guess what? When you try to force feed people that are not world champions, when that happens, how are they going to top that moment? Okay, let's give the title to Sami, and then what?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but Josh, but it's I try not to compare this to Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan was way more of an organic thing than I think Sami Zayn is. But there are some similarities, because this was just meant for Zayn to be kind of like a comedy gimmick act. I want to be with the bloodline. Yeah. But he turned it into something where you can't ignore it. You can't.
What? The connection with the audience? Okay, he had a great babyface turn. This is nothing like Daniel Bryan. Sami did not get screwed out of the WWE Championship at SummerSlam like Bryan did the year prior.
Okay, fair. That's fair. That's a fair point.
Nothing with Sami in the bloodline has ever had anything to do with him in the championship outside just, the cool idea. Let's put Sami against Roman, and we can magically believe that Sami is going to beat Roman Reigns straight up for the championship. Also, Cody Rhodes is not Batista. Also, I'm so tired of this notion that Sami Zayn is replicating Daniel Bryan. Great. Sami Zayn's a babyface. That's the only comparison I can see from this. There's nothing. It has
fair.
nothing to do with the championship. It's just a connection with the audience. Great. Everybody has connections with audience. Seth Rollins has a great connection with the audience. Why didn't he win the Royal Rumble? Where's the fuss about him not going after Roman Reigns in the championship? Since he has this great connection with the audience, everybody's singing his song during his matches every time he comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and I'm not going to come out here and be like I'm a Sami Zayn hater. I appreciate what he does in the ring. He's a tremendous wrestler. The stuff that he's done with the blind hit, again, has been the best stuff in wrestling and making people lose their shit and laughing and stuff like that. But again, I can't convince myself that a guy that lost to Johnny Knoxville last year's WrestleMania is now suddenly going to become Daniel Bryan and win the championship. I can't buy that. I can't. And it doesn't make sense storyline-wise because nothing's been involved with the championship with him since he joined the group in the first place.
Right.
So, like, okay, let's have, again, you're not even going to top the atmosphere of Roman versus Sami in Montreal. You cannot recreate that at WrestleMania. I get it. It's Mania. But does anybody believe that Sami Zayn would beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania at this point?
It depends on how they set it up. Because if they can,
okay, okay, let me say this. If Sami Zayn gets a title shot at WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble has no integrity. What's the point of the match?
Well, I get, again, the only way my only counter argument to that would be is if Cody Rhodes says, I don't care about the Universal Champ at some point. Because right now he said, I will be the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. They can change that if they want. But at some point, if Cody Rhodes comes out and says, you know, I'm all about tradition. I've been about tradition. I'm an old school person. The one thing that's eluded me in career, the only thing I care about is the WWE Championship. And he challenges for just the WWE title. Then that's an easy out if that's the direction they decide to go. Because, again, that still makes everybody happy. Cody gets his, oh, my God, he finally did it for his dad kind of thing. You know, they've talked about him bringing back the Winged Eagle belt like he's done before with the Intercontinental Championship. So that would be my only counter argument to that. But I see what you're saying. I certainly get your point about the whole Sami Zayn thing. Like, I get it. Either way, Josh, I was just going to say, what I love about what WWE is doing right now is it's causing us to have this debate. We don't know what's coming, and I love that. You know,
before we get to our main event, which is what people are really excited for.
By the way, good discussion. By the way, Josh, good discussion. I love it. And there's going to be many more of these to come over the next month or so. But yes, let's go ahead.
By the way, make sure to put in your calendars, everybody. Episode 350 is on March 2nd. Make sure to put it in your calendars. Yes.
Great.
Okay. NXT Ventures Day is coming up this Saturday for the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's 6 matches on the card as it is right now, as I'm looking at it. First off, we have Roxanne Perez winning her NXT Women's title in a triple threat match. It's going to be more like a handicap match because we have the 2 members of Toxic Attraction in Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. Roxanne, I think, is going to retain here, but
yeah, I agree.
This would be a nice showcase match for both of these ladies. See where the direction for both of them is going to be. Honestly, at this point, I just don't know whether they're going to still be a unit in NXT or they actually come up and be a tag team on Raw or SmackDown. I'm not one of those people like, oh, they got the call up for the main roster. But that should be an interesting match. But after that, we got Carmelo Hayes against Apollo Crews in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Wes Lee puts his NXT North American Championship on the line against Dijak. I think Dijak will become your new NXT North American Champion. This is too much of a mismatch there, in my opinion. We have Katana Chance, a.k.a. Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter, taking on a team of Fallon Henley and Kiana James for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. I think Chance and Carter retain here, and fortunate for those who don't watch NXT, Fallon Henley is associated with a team called Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. Brooks Jensen has the hots for Kiana James, who's the tag team partner of Fallon Henley. Kiana James is kind of a shady like over the top, look at me type of lady that has a lot of connections and stuff like that. Keanu James trying to buy out Fallon Henley's family bar. There's a lot of a lot of stuff that's gone into the story, and Keanu is basically untrustworthy. And poor Brooks Jensen will get his heart broken before Valentine's Day, unfortunately. So that's how I see things playing out down there. Also, we have a fatal 4-way match for the NXT Tag Team titles. It's your boys, the New Day. They'll be taking on the team of Gallus, Pretty Deadly, and the Dean of all professional wrestling, Andre Chase, and Duke Cusson of Chase University. It's a fatal 4-way match. I have New Day retaining this match. It should be a crazy barn burner. I know Booker T will be upset about it because he hates the New Day for whatever reason, and it should be interesting. But I am going with New Day to retain. And of course, we got the main event: Braun Breaker against.
Did you talk about Apollo Crews and Carmelo Hayes?
Oh yeah, I got Carmelo Hayes winning that one. Yes, it's a 2
out of 3 falls.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Back to the main event: Braun Breaker and Grayson Waller is a steel cage match. I think Braun Breaker will retain here. I know a lot of people may want to see a new champion or whatever, but Braun is that dude, and if he is going to lose the title, I think he'll probably lose it at Stand and Deliver, which is the Mania weekend show. So I'm going with Braun to retain here, but overall, this card for Vengeance Day is going to be pretty good. Usually you get like 5 matches on a TakeOver show, but we have 6 on this one. It's going to be outside of the Performance Center, and curious to see how the turnout is with the live audience, and should be pretty good.
I like it, Josh. But you know what I also like? I like our main event segment. I like what everybody wants to see. We talk about giving the people what they want. And Josh, it is time to give the people what they want as we ask one very important question every single week. What the hell is wrong with AEW? And we're going to get this a bad boy started in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living in my time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? That graphic gets me every time. Oh, man. Beat your meat again. That's fine. It is that mythical time of week, Josh, when we ask ourselves, what the hell is wrong with AEW, a.k.a. what isn't wrong with AEW? Now, Josh, I have to confess, I didn't have a chance to watch the show in its entirety this past week. My television was being fickle, much like the internet wrestling community. My TV was being fickle, so it was able to get going sometime this afternoon. So I skimmed through the show, saw what I needed to see. So I'm going to turn this thing over to you, Josh, as we ask the mythical question, what the hell is wrong with AEW?
Well, not only will you get a review from last night's absolutely abhorring edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS, we have a new exclusive that we're going to do here. I told Bernard Carter about this before we came on the show.
All right.
There was a new feature on AEW that came out on the Bloomberg News spectrum, and it's a funny article which we'll be getting to in a little bit. But to answer the question, everything is wrong with AEW. We're gonna play a couple clips from this past week's episode to show you some of the nonsense that we have to sit through every week. But again, here's the question I need to ask everybody that's watching or listening to this right now. If you're being really honest to yourself, What is one thing that AEW could hang their hat on? Bird Carter, you can answer this question yourself.
The only thing I could say is MJF, but that's it. And you know, but as a company, nothing. What has been AEW's big moment? The oh my God, here we go moment. I can't think of one.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
CM Punk. CM Punk. CM Punk.
Oh my God. So
go ahead.
An outside return from WWE who ended up being a cancer in the locker room is the biggest moment in your company's history. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, just about. Yep. Okay, so
oh my God.
Last night AEW Dynamite took place in Dayton, Ohio, the ass cheeks of the Midwest, Dayton, Ohio. By the way, great to see Renee Young on our TV screen as always. Yes. That girl, her waterfall again is no one that knows no bounds. Yes. But we had Jon Moxley coming down to the ring with his dad, which I thought was pretty interesting. That was pretty cool. I know we rip on Moxley here and there, but it was pretty funny to see his dad come down. So I thought that was cool. It was match 3 of this trilogy between Jon Moxley and Hangman Page. And again, I don't take away the physicality for these guys, but I have to ask the question here. Why did this match go 25 minutes? Is this the blow-off? Because if it is, why was this saved towards the pay-per-view? So we had a 25-minute match. Yes, LOL, spoiler alert, Moxley was bleeding again. They had multiple false finishes. I think I counted, at least in my head, like 50 lariats were thrown out in the match. So that really makes that move look weak at this point. And then all that to lose to a roll-up for Jon Moxley. Moxley beats Hangman via roll-up after like a 20-plus minute match. Again, it's okay that you want to have competitive matches starting off your show, but as this has been a feud that's been going on and on and on for months, why are you dropping your load on a TV show in fucking Dayton, Ohio, when you got a pay-per-view in 3 weeks? 3 or 4 weeks. I don't get it.
Well, again, Josh, you said it's 3 weeks away till the pay-per-view, right?
Correct.
Besides MJF and Danielson, what other matches have been announced? What else about this is going to get me intrigued to buy this pay-per-view? Tell me.
Right.
Why should I buy this pay-per-view?
Right, and let's say they have a rematch at the pay-per-view. Okay, Hangman Page wins that one. What, we're going to do match number 5 on Rampage? An hour-long, no-holds-barred match? Is that what we're going to do?
Probably. Because, well, and then, Josh, my favorite part, though, is when the camera cut to Moxley and he bladed during the show. You can see. You can see. Well, we know what's coming next. Oh, my God.
Hey, I know everybody's giving big props to Mike Mansuri and his new production and the new lights and the new stage and blah blah blah. You can fancy everything you want. AEW is still gonna AEW. Let's get to some positive stuff here. As one of the few things we can rely on this promotion is the Acclaim. Let's take a listen to the Acclaim's latest rap on last night's AEW Dynamite. Let's check this out.
Acclaimed on the mic, you know we the nicest. Fighting 2 guys in a midlife crisis. I bet you have sex with each other. How we gonna fight the bootleg Beverly Brothers? Come on, it's not the 80s. Acclaim make you call it quits like you Tom Brady. Hey, y'all should be ashamed. In Ohio, everybody loves the Acclaimed.
Oh man, beautiful.
Scissor me, daddy ass.
So the Acclaim run through a team called Turbo Floyd and Turbo my bad. It's Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd. I should remember this because I see these two jabronis on Dark and Elevation every other week. Yeah, so this was a squash match. I only played the promo because, again, we have very few and far between of good things that we have to see throughout this program. So the Acclaim won, and that led to a standoff with the Guns still trying to make their case as to why they should get a tag team title shot. Billy Gunn decides to walk out of the ring. Austin Gunn says, yeah, why don't you do, that's what you do best, walk out. While you're at it, why don't you douse some pills or something like that? I think that's what he said. And Billy gets up in their face, trying to punk out his kids. That's great for people watching at home, right? That's the best way to handle that situation. And then all to say, Billy announces that the Gun Club will get their tag title match against the Acclaim. Writing's on the wall here. Get ready to say goodbye to Scissor Me Daddy Ass. He's gonna turn on the Acclaim soon. And
that was Josh. That was the first thing I thought of was, well, and it's been fun, which sucks because Billy Gunn with the Acclaimed actually has been working. It's been great. But of course, no, as you said earlier, nobody knows how to AEW more than AEW, and AEW will AEW this entire thing with the Acclaim because that's what they do.
Hey, what could go wrong will go wrong.
Just like the Cowboys in the playoffs, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah. From there, we had a backstage with Officer Barbrady and Jack Perry. Jack Perry declares that he's going to have a singles title. Again, my question to everybody watching this, do you give a fuck?
Nope. Let's move on. Let's carry it the hell on.
All right. Kenosuke Takeshita, the Shawn Michaels of wrestling, has beat Brian Cage in a 15-minute match. Yada, yada. Fine match. No issues there for me. It was what it was. So, yeah. Again, it's nothing against Kenosuke Takeshita. I love Japanese wrestlers and stuff like that, but they're doing too much with this guy. It's the same thing all the time. Implementing dudes that don't belong into programs and then featuring them in these elongated matches that overstay their welcome. Again, I want to enjoy the guy, but stop jamming this guy down my throat every week. One thing I haven't complained about MJF, and I don't do this a lot because, again, he's one of the few people that I enjoy. But regardless of who it's been, CM Punk, any other of his feuds, where he has to bring up all these random people to have the challenger go through Hoots just to face him, it's starting to get old. It happened with Jericho. It happened with Punk. Finding random dudes just to get him. Now we have it here with Bryan Danielson, where he has to fight 7 different people and have 20-minute matches every single week with them in order to get this title shot. So that's the whole deal here. We have Bryan Danielson and Timothy Thatcher. We're building up this feud with Bryan Danielson and MJF. Hey, like, I wonder what's the need of having to rehash WrestleMania 30 when you AEW fans are already getting what you want. Your Garden Gnome wrestler is getting a title shot the next pay-per-view. So why we need to shove Sami Zayn down my throat? Anyways, let's get back to this. We have Bryan Danielson and Timothy Thatcher. I tried to enjoy this match, but again, nothing for Bryan's end besides knowing he's a good wrestler has got me invested in this feud. His promos have not been clicking for me. MJF has been carrying this feud, if we're being honest, from an entertainment standpoint. So, Bryan Danielson wins with a psycho knee. Takeshita fought off MJF to the back. They got to a pure 6 brawl. Whoa, we had a lot of Renee Paquette on this show last night. Not that it's a bad thing or anything like that.
I was going to say, what's the problem? What's the problem?
But she announced that next week it'll be MJF against Takeshita. Hey, it's Tony Khan's favorite match stipulation in a AEW Championship Eliminator match.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean?
It's a ripoff of the Contenders match that WWE does sometimes. So if you beat the champion, you get a future title shot. But again, Eliminator match? What tournament's coming up? Why are you calling it Eliminator?
I don't I think, okay, is the goal to throw your opponent over the top rope? Like, what is the objective of this match?
Yeah. Speaking of what the hell is wrong with AEW, we toss it off now to the vice presidents of the company, the executive vice presidents, and
oh God, no,
Kenny Olivier in the backstage area. Last night, and I know Taz was so giddy to say this last night. Dynamite was at the Nutter Center in Dayton, Ohio. So they were at this basketball arena in the backstage area. Let's listen to some of this, shall we?
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, check out who it is. It's the first ever two-time Trios Champions, the Elite.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, Top Flight. Look, I watched what you guys did after a best-of-7 series and a ladder match. You got one up on our boys. Well, how about next week? You bring your friend AR Fox. We'll put these belts in the line, and you guys can shoot your shot. But hey, when you shoot that shot, you best not miss because the Elite never miss. Nick, if you will. Show him. Show him. Oh! Very nice. Never miss. Never. Hey, whoa.
Stokely's here, Brandon. Better lower than that.
Hey, someone say Stokely's here? Where is it? Hey, man, I know you see me. I'm right here. Listen, so let me get this straight. You three are doing absolutely nothing all week. Nothing?
No wrestling, nothing else. You just have the week off? That's right. That's crazy because our employees don't have that luxury. We make them work every single week, and I want to keep that streak going. So how about this? The three of you against me, Matt, and Zayn. This Friday on Rampage.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Actually, that's Matt Hardy. If we get you on footage with the one-winged angel on him, we could sell that NFT for a lot of money.
But what about an NFT with Matt Hardy twist evading Kenny Omega?
Oh, that works for you. That's a great idea. I love it.
Okay, if this is about a match, you guys got it. This Friday on Rampage, the Elite versus whatever the heck you guys call yourselves. We'll see you there.
Yeah, I hope y'all boys ready. Because we definitely are.
Nice. Hey, good piece of business, guys. Hey, your name's Brandon, right? Cut the camera. Hey, you don't talk to him like that, okay? Now, Brandon, turn off the damn camera, you dumbass.
Josh, for the people that are not watching the video view of this, I am covering my eyes. I am just sitting here in disgust because 2 minutes of my life have just been wasted watching these morons. There wasn't one person on that screen that I give two shits about. Not one. Not certainly not the Elite. Not Don Fallis. Not Michael knocking the fuck off. Hardy, who's become a shell of himself. Well, I'll give a half of a carrot to Ethan Page because he's actually has potential. Hathaway. Whatever that other dude's name was. Like, I have zero interest in this at all. I wonder how many takes, by the way, it took them for Nick Jackson to hit that free throw, by the way. Or that field goal. But, Josh, why? Why? Can you explain this to me? I don't understand this.
Oh, man. Oh man, you wonder why why nobody watches Rampage and why AEW lost 100,000 people in viewership last night. So they had this big hurrah because they went over 1 million last week. They're back to 900,000 this week on Dynamite. There's something else that needs to be said about that segment. That's how bad it was.
Yes,
and I'll be honest with you. They're the leaders of false advertising because they false advertise professional wrestling and being an alternative. I believe I have some atonement here that I gotta do for myself. We unfortunately will not be able to read a Bloomberg article that I was previewing earlier because Bloomberg decided to be jerk-offs and put it behind a paywall because people are starting to call them out on their shit. So I can't even read it to you guys, unfortunately. Oh, man. Tony Khan got that call in. Hey, can you guys put that on the paywall? I find it interesting that Tony Khan now has to pay the New York Post, the New York Times, Bloomberg News to put in huff pieces on how great they are and the demise of WWE. That was the gist of what we were going to talk about. But you watch that and you tell me what's good about that content, that segment there.
Nothing. I mean, besides, well, there's nothing because you have the Elite acting like complete assholes as usual and are not entertaining. You know, doing all that stuff with, I don't know why they keep Cutlet and Naka away around and Don Fallis. There was nothing about this that was entertaining. Josh, do you care at all about the Firm?
Not one bit.
No. Has anybody cared about the Firm since they did their thing with MJF?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Just say no and we'll move on. Like no. I mean, I have no reason to care about this. This is just going to be to try to get some cheap pop when they hear "Carry On My Wayward Son," and they've ruined that song for me, by the way. Now, yeah, I don't care about this at all. I hate everything about this. It was stupid.
By the way, it's time for the excrement.
Oh yes, please go ahead.
Coming to you live on Rampage on TNT Friday night. It's the Elite putting their AEW World Trio Championship on the line against the team of Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy. From there, we have Swerve Strickland of Mogul Affiliates taking on Brian Pillman Jr. From there, we have the team of Saraya and Tony Storm in tag team action. They'll be taking on the Renegade Twins. In our main event, it's Roosh taking on Christopher Daniels. Don't forget, get all your tickets right now at awtix.com.
Bravo. Very good. Very nicely done. Are we going to see, did you say Saraya and Tony Storm are in tag team action? I can't remember. Did you catch that? Okay.
Yeah, they're heels now. We got AEW Originals against Outsiders. And they're pinning Tony Storm and Saraya as heels because, again, you know who's the biggest heel in AEW, right? WWE.
Josh, WWE will live rent-free in AEW's head forever. So, shall we get to the main event?
One last thing. Congrats to Jade Cargill. Congrats to Jade Cargill and her 50th victory over Red Velvet. Nice to see her celebrate with her daughter at the match. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, let's get to the main event.
Can I ask one follow-up question, Josh? I hate to say this, but I can't believe I'm saying. Do you care about Jade Cargill anymore?
I just accepted to say when she's on TV, it's good for my business. So yes, it's great to see her. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, we have the main event. No holds barred. Samoa Joe, Darby Allin, match number 3 of their trilogy. Samoa Joe wins after a avalanche muscle buster onto exposed wooden boards. By the way, there was a coffin drop during this match that featured a hoodie filled with thumbtacks glued into them. Darby went and misfired on a suicide dive and went straight through a table that was pressed against the barricade on it. Some really nasty spots. They were brawling in the crowd. Samoa Joe got busted open during the match. Samoa Joe, who's already the Ring of Honor World Television Champion and lost his title about 3 weeks ago to Darby Allin, he decides and he wins and regains his championship. So let me ask you, where's the fuss about hot potatoing the TNT Championship? The best
Josh,
part of this,
because it's not WWE. That's why. Because he won it back. Damn, he's so good. Oh wow. Damn, Samoa Joe's so good. He won the title back. Break.
I wonder who's more delusional, Jackson Mahomes or AEW fans. The best part about this was, one, knowing that the show's going to be over, and two, Wardlow coming out and beating up Samoa Joe to close the show. So that, my friends, was AEW Dynamite last night for TBS. Brother Carter, if you were to give a grade, since you are a educator of the masses, what grade would you give AEW Dynamite last night?
Well, because of the few bright high spots, I would give AEW Dynamite last night an F+. Just to give it, because it was terrible, but I'll give it a plus because of the acclaimed, and that's it. MJF doesn't even get a pass this week, so no, I give it an F+. What about you?
I'm gonna give it a G.
Very good.
No, garbage.
Oh, even better.
Yeah,
even better.
On that note, we have to pose the question to everybody again. What the hell is wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. The Gauntlet. That's what's wrong with AEW.
This episode of Dynamite was so bad that I even forgot to mention. Okay. Can somebody tell me what the fuck is the Guevara Garcia Gauntlet? I would rather spend a night in juvie jail than watch a Guevara Garcia Gauntlet. I would rather spend a night in Cleveland than watch a Garcia Guevara Gauntlet. I'd rather go to a Chicago Cubs game than watch the Garcia Guevara Gauntlet. I'd rather listen to a full Justin Bieber album than watch a Garcia Guevara Gauntlet. The Jericho Appreciation Society sucks.
They're awful. The worst faction of the last 15 years, and it's not close. Oh, God. I almost feel like we need to play the song. Well, no, we will wrap it. I was going to play the song again, but no, we're good.
I didn't want to end this with a low note, but
Fair
it
enough.
had to be said.
No, I understand.
All right.
Josh, as we wrap up the podcast this week, there is one thing that we forgot to mention. It was another sad week, sad day today in the world of professional wrestling as Lanny Poffo, the son or the brother, I believe, of Macho Man Randy Savage, unfortunately passed away today at the age of 68. Best known as the Genius in WWE. So, but we just want to send our hearts out, condolences out to the Poffo family. Great character, and he's reunited with his brother. So just know that we thoughts and prayers out to the Poffo family, and we just want to say, rest in peace, man. Great run, great life.
Yeah, it was really sad to see that this morning. I got to see Lanny in person induct his brother into the Hall of Fame in 2015.
Very cool.
Very sad news. So our thoughts go out to the entire Poffo family. Also, again, shout out to the Briscoes and their family. I got to watch a little bit of the funeral service over the weekend that they put up on YouTube. So it's really nice to see that sent off for Jay. Caprice Coleman had a wonderful eulogy. You guys go check it out.
Yes.
So our thoughts and prayers go out to their families. Do wanted to mention, I put it on Twitter the other day that going forward, I'm going to be putting my website, Pro Wrestling Transcriptions, on hold, so you won't hear me plug it as much. I don't know if it's the end. I've had a good almost in May. It'll be 6 years since I've had this site. I started it up in 2017. I'm very proud of that website, and it kept me motivated to keep on doing this stuff once I left WrestleZone, and it gave me a lot of opportunities to do some other stuff. But like I mentioned before, the situation I'm in, I'm not going to be able to position to continue to cover all the shows in the way I want to. Like, I made a decision over the weekend, like I can't do this anymore. So for many years, I was doing Raw, SmackDown, the big shows, stuff like that, pay-per-views, all that for free. I can't do that anymore. So I'm gonna be putting the website on hiatus, but I do want to tell everybody that it really meant a lot to me that all of you supported the website for what it was, and it really means a lot to me. I also want to give a shout out to my parents who've been like really supportive with me with this whole situation with the furlough. They've really been giving some nice encouragement, and I don't get a chance to give them a shout out like I should out here on this platform. So I just want to give a shout out to them because they've been really encouraging. Especially my dad. He's always been like my biggest supporter when it comes to doing stuff like this at the wrestling and stuff, and I appreciate that dude a lot. I really do. So I want to give a shout out to my parents. So on that note, though, we're in good spirits. This was a wonderful episode of the Hoots podcast. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I know I lost some points in my performance evaluation this week. But I have to call a spade. Get up sucks. But make sure to follow Brother Carter at Twitter at Derek Stoughton. Make sure to support his work at DerekStoughton.com and WrestlingRumors.net. Also, you can check me out on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram, Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to leave us a 4 or 5 star review rating on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to subscribe and follow to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Hoots Podcast. It means a lot of support. Hopefully, I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier in the show. I don't know what that was.
Me neither.
Thank you. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And we'll be back here next week to continue on our journey. We are 4 episodes away from episode 350 of the Hoots Podcast. So for Brother Carter, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 346. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, don't ever let anybody dictate the pace of your life but yourself in the badass stairs. For Brother Carter, I'm Joshie. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yes, sir.